Said Baruch Hashem. We're going to halacha today. Today is Chaftet Mar Cheshvan. It's Erev Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Chanukah coming up. Soon we're going to start learning halachas of Chanukah. But first we're learning the halachas of Kaddish. We're learning in Shulchan Aruch about Kaddish and about who's considered 13 years old and who can be part of a minyan, who cannot. It's in Siman 55. Right now, we're just going to go back a little bit to Seif Chet. I forgot to mention this. I skipped accidentally. And it's an important thing to know. Sometimes you have people in the minyan. We said already that a blind person is not a problem that he joins a minyan. What about a deaf person or mute? So Shulchan Aruch says, a deaf person, Cheresh, actually in the Talmud, usually when it says Cheresh, it doesn't mean deaf, it means someone who's deaf and mute. It is also that in the olden days, before it was very developed, the whole people who were deaf, a lot of times were mute also because they weren't able to pronounce the words. Today they have more ways of how to teach them to pronounce what they're not hearing, basically. So maybe it won't be 100% speech, but you can understand what they're saying. So the Shulchan Aruch says that someone who cannot hear and can speak, or he cannot speak but he could hear, 100% he can join a minyan, it's not a problem. The question is, could a deaf person, so a person who cannot hear, could he be a shliach tzibur? So the poskim say that most of the poskim say it's better not to. It's a big b'diavad. The only place where they would let is if a person was hearing until today and he lost his hearing, so then some poskim say that he's still allowed to be a shliach tzibur. And if he is deaf and mute, it says the Shulchan Aruch, he cannot join the minyan. What's considered mute? That if he's trying to talk and no one understands what he's talking about. If he could talk, if people understand what he's talking about, it's not so clear, but it's understood. So even though it's maybe a little bit mute, he cannot really talk, but you understand what he's saying. So then you could have him join a minyan. One more thing I want to add about deaf people. Not about deaf, about people who have a hearing, what's it called? Aid, yeah, an aid. Right? A hearing aid. So if you have a hearing aid, of Moshe Feinstein, Eagles Moshe, he says that we don't judge a person, we don't check if he's deaf or not when he has the aid in his ear. We have to see the person himself. Could he hear or not? So if he cannot hear at all, only with the aid, I mean, I could talk, I could scream next to him, hello, hello, and only with the aid he can hear a little bit, he's considered deaf. But if he could hear, just you have to speak loudly. So his hearing he's not deaf, his hearing went low. A lot of times happens at older age. Or if a car accident, my grandfather, he lost one of his hearing in one ear in a car accident. Or people sometimes at older age, they lose their hearing a little bit. So he's not considered deaf. He could still hear, because without the aids, he could hear a little bit. It's good enough. He could hear. You have to know that that's the halacha.
There's one other instance, and that is if the minyan is all deaf.
All deaf.
If they're all deaf, right, then everything is usually
Signed,
yeah.
Right. So, but sign language, meaning you're going to pick up your hand, the right hand, they know to say Amen. If you have a left hand, they know to say Baruch Shmo. So we have a proof from many, many years ago, from about 800 years ago in Alexandria, in the city of Alexandria in Egypt. They had a huge shul, or that the acoustics weren't so good, whatever it was. The people in the back could not hear what the chazan is saying. So how did they know how to answer? So there was a gabbai standing in the middle who he could hear and they could see him. He's standing something high, and he used to pick up a red flag and a yellow flag, and so we could see that it is okay. Some persons say that the deaf person cannot be moitzi others in the Kriyas Megillah. If he, right? Zimun, today when we make a zimun, at 3 after eating, a deaf person could join. Why? Because today the zimun is not like it used to be. What was it? Like the Rambam says, That one person, he makes the blessing, the after blessing, and everyone says Amen, and they are Yotze by his blessing. But today, each one blesses to himself, so we don't care that the deaf person can definitely join. What are you asking, Shlomo?
What about someone who can't hear, but has a severe speech impediment? It's not because they don't have speech, but like maybe they have severe stutter.
If we said already, if a person can hear and not speak, he could join a minyan, even if he's completely mute. He doesn't have, his vocal cords are not
It's
working.
only if you can't hear and can't speak.
Right. That's the only time. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go to what I really prepared for today. That was on the way I was learning. So it says in Sif Yud a very interesting thing. Im na'ar echad nolad b'chaftet le'adar rishon mishana me'uberet. We know sometimes we have a leap year. Yeah, in the Jewish calendar, there's a leap year. A leap year means that there's 13 Jewish months in the year and not 12. Which month do we add? We add Adar Sheni. We add there's two Adars. The month before Nisan will be an extra month. Okay, so we have two Adars. Thing is, if someone, and which is the main Adar? Which is the main Adar? The main Adar is always the second Adar. Meaning, we see when do we make Purim? The second Adar. Right? So the question is, what happens when someone is born? So anything that happens in a regular year, when it's not a leap year, and anyone who's born in Adar in a regular year, if his bar mitzvah or birthday or whatever is on a leap year, we'll make it on Adar Sheni. So too with a Yotzeit. If someone's relative had passed away on Adar, and it was a regular year with one Adar, on a leap year, the Yotzeit will be on the second Adar, not on the first Adar. So the Shulchan brings an interesting case. And if two people are born, one is on a leap year with two Adars. One is born on the last day of the month of Adar Rishon. On the first Adar, on the last day. On the 29th, I'm sorry. Not to say the last. On the 29th of the first Adar, he's born. And the second person is born on Aleph, on the first of the second Adar. So who's older? The person who's born in the first Adar. Who's younger? The person who's born in the second Adar. But what happens? Their bar mitzvah, these two boys, their bar mitzvah year is only one Adar. When there's one Adar, so the one who was born earlier, right, he was born on Chaftet, there's no two Adars now. So now his birthday, his bar mitzvah will be on the end of the month of Adar, right before the month of Nisan. And the person who was born on Aleph of the second Adar, there's no two Adars now, his bar mitzvah will be on the first of the Adar. So even though he's born 2 days after his friend, right? Still his bar mitzvah will be 30 days before his friend. Okay, it's an interesting thing that can happen. Okay, yeah, very good. Now we have some interesting cases in the Mishnah Berurah also. It brings more cases like that. Someone now talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow is Lamed Cheshvan. Lamed Cheshvan doesn't always exist either. Sometimes they exist, sometimes doesn't. Some months always exist, sometimes they always have 30 days, and others always have 29. In some months, in the Jewish calendar, they change. Sometimes it's 29, sometimes it's 30. Can't they change? One of them, Cheshvan and Kislev, they change. They're not always set. Okay? So if someone is born tomorrow, okay, on Lamed Cheshvan, which is the first day of Rosh Chodesh Kislev, and the day he is bar mitzvah, the year he's bar mitzvah, there's no Lamed Cheshvan. There's just only one day Rosh Chodesh. When does he turn bar mitzvah? It says in the Mishnah Berurah, he becomes bar mitzvah on Rosh Chodesh Kislev, meaning on Aleph. even though he was born on Lamed Cheshvan, on the day of the bar mitzvah, he will become bar mitzvah on Aleph Kislev. Why? Because he's born on Lamed. Lamed doesn't exist. So what are you going to say? Is bar mitzvah on 29th? He wasn't born on the 29th. And 30th doesn't exist. So he's born the day after the 29th, which comes out this year. It's called the first of the next month. But that's when he turns bar mitzvah. A different case he brings. Someone was born on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. In that year, there was only one day of Rosh Chodesh Kislev. There was only Aleph Kislev. It went like this, 29 of Cheshvan. And the next day was already Aleph Kislev. There was no 30th of Cheshvan. There was only one day Rosh Chodesh. But the year he's bar mitzvah, there were 2 days Rosh Chodesh, like this year. There was Lamed Kislev. There was Lamed Cheshvan and Aleph Kislev. When does he turn bar mitzvah? Then the Shavur says he turns bar mitzvah on the first day of Rosh Chodesh. Even though he's born on Aleph Kislev, he's born on Aleph Kislev, in a year that there was no 30th of Cheshvan. If his bar mitzvah falls on the year when there is a 30th of Cheshvan, his birthday will be on the 30th of Cheshvan. It's a very interesting chiddush. I didn't know this. It's also, I don't understand it so much, but Shabur says explicitly. No one doesn't bring anyone that argues. Okay. It's very interesting. Now, I'm not going to go. There's a lot more details. If someone's born in one place in the world, and his bar mitzvah is in a place where the date changes, right? So when he's do bar mitzvah, I'm not going into that today because it's a little bit complicated. I want to write it out first and make it all neat so I don't confuse myself and anyone else. So Zat Hashem, we'll deal with that too. Just add another thing, that if someone is born in Ben Hashmashos, what's Ben Hashmashos? Ben Hashmashos is between, it's called in English twilight, right? Between Shkia, between the sunset and the stars coming out. In Eretz Yisrael, it's a very short time. It's 18 minutes. If you move more south, it's even shorter, right? Where you come from is probably very short. It's a much small area. If you move north or south, a lot south and a lot north, like in Europe and northern countries, right? So we have a shkia of 50 minutes. In Oman, a shkia of 45 minutes, 50 minutes, right? So that's all that time. It's a suffix. What day is it today? It's a doubt. Is it yesterday or is it tomorrow? The problem is, if a baby's born at that time, so first of all, when do you do the bris? When did you do the bris? So at Brit, we have different rules. Why? Because you cannot do it at the 7th day. And so if you do it the day that maybe it's 7th or maybe it's 8th, you have a problem because maybe it's 7th, you're not doing the mitzvah. But if it's maybe 8th or maybe 9th, so you're okay because it's okay, you're doing the mitzvah. The mitzvah is from 8th and on, and not beforehand. But what happens on a bar mitzvah? Your bar mitzvah, you were born ben hashmashot, okay? Between one day and the other. Your bar mitzvah, it's a davar deoraita. When am I obligated in doing all the mitzvahs? When am I obligated from the Torah doing the mitzvahs? Therefore, in a place like that, the halacha is that he becomes bar mitzvah the day before. Why? Just to make sure that he's covered. Okay? To make sure that he's covered. Because is he not going to put on tefillin? Maybe he's already bar mitzvah, but he's not going to put on tefillin. Or he's not, I don't know, whatever, any other mitzvah that he's obligated to do. Kriyat Shema, no, today he's not going to say Kriyat Shema, he's chayav to say Kriyat Shema anyways. Right? So of course, he'll be obligated from the day before. And they should know that there's an inyan to make a seuda on the day that a child turns 13, to make a meal, to bring 10 people. Today, Hashem, make big parties. But there's an inyan, it's a halacha. I remember my brother, they made a big thing in the hall, not on his birthday. They made a big party. But so on the birthday, since it's brought down that he was supposed to do a seudat mitzvah, we made a big meal, and we had in the house, we had whatever, 15 people over, and my mother made a big meal, and it was very nice. My brother spoke a little bit, and because that's the real bar mitzvah, is the inyan, because the person now is being now mechuyav. He has an obligation to do all the mitzvot. It's a big joy. He gets to do all the mitzvot. It's a beautiful thing. That's why we make a bar mitzvah party. Yofi. Ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll talk more about what happens by mitzvah when you go from one place to the other place in the world. Yeah, and follow the classes Ezrat Hashem. Shom will be starting to talk about Chanukah. Interesting halachot. Baruchim to you.